Welcome to this program on how to make a hand-tooled leather over-the-breast steampunk style corset. My name is George Hurst. In this video we will show how to select the proper leather, how to tool and color the leather, how to use various hardware items to assemble the parts, and how to install the laces. Most of all, you can personalize the corset any way you want. You can select the kind of leather you want. You can color it any way you want. Select your own hardware and your own tooling style. To cut the leather parts for my corset, I have made templates based on the available pattern for all of the parts. Now I will cut these from 4 to 5 ounce vegetable tanned leather. To mark to cut out my parts, I have turned the leather over so that I will mark it on the inside or the flesh side, and I will do that now with an ink pen, very carefully marking along the edge of my template, making sure that it does not move. I will also use my pen to mark all of the holes. This is very important because we will be using rivets to put this together, and this is exactly the holes where we will install the rivets. For this part, we also have some larger holes where we will install eyelets, so I will carefully mark those holes as well. And now we do this with all of our parts. For all of these parts, we will cut a left and a right, so it'll be necessary to flip the pattern, as you can see, and then trace from the back side as well. Exactly like we did the front side, marking all of the holes and all of the lines on the outside of the piece. On this part, in addition to the holes where we will install rivets, we'll also mark to where we install the closer tabs on the front of the corset. Very important to get these marked in their exact position. After we have marked all of our parts on the back side, we can now begin our cutting. And now I will very carefully cut exactly on the lines that we traced. To make the small closer straps, I'll need to have 20 pieces 3/4 inch wide by 3.5 inches, so I will cut about 70 inches of strap to make these from. To make the overlapping strap, I will cut a piece 1.5 inches wide by 15 inches long. Next, we will Carefully punch all of our holes exactly as indicated on our pattern. Since there are many holes to punch on this project, I would highly recommend you use a cutting board and a drive punch, especially for these larger holes. After all of our parts are cut out, it's time to do some tooling if you'd like, and in this case I'm going to stamp some borders on, this being the first piece in the front, the number 1 piece. I've made a border all the way around, and using the template, the Craft Aid template, I have put a gear right there, and you can put as much decoration on this as you want. Now, you notice the next piece, the number 2 piece, I have stamped a border around the top, the bottom, but not along this one, because this one will overlap, and it's not necessary to do a border where the overlap is. Now the same thing will happen in the next piece. You'll notice this piece will overlap, as you can see, but with the opening down here, I will stamp a border around these holes and along this edge, which will overlap to the final piece. And then we will stamp along the top and the bottom and the end where the eyelets will go in the last piece. I'm going to start my stamping on the bottom, and I'll start it with this veiner about a 1/2 inch in and a 1/2 inch from the bottom, and I will stamp a line, as you can see, along the bottom. When I get over to where the holes for the eyelets are, I will start, as you can see, about a 1/2 inch up, and then I will put one more right here. Now I will stamp, as you can see, slightly inside of the line where the eyelet holes are. I will stamp only to the top where the eyelets come to an end. And as you can see, I curled around at the end, and this is all of the stamping we'll do on this edge. Now we will continue stamping down the other edge. To make the tabs for the buckles of the front of the corset, I have cut, as it instructed, 20 of these tabs, each one 3/4 of an inch by 3.5 inches. So now I will take my strap end punch, and I will cut the end of each of these. Using the templates I made from the pattern, I will now place them on top of the leather, and I will mark the holes, in this case 2 on this end for the rivets and 2 on the other end for the rivets. On the tongue portion, I will mark 2 holes on one end for rivets and 3 on the other end for buckling. Now for the buckling, I will punch 2 1/8 inch holes for the rivets and 3 5/32 holes so that we can buckle with the buckle tongue. Now on the other one, I will punch 4 holes for rivets with the 1/8 inch punch. And in the center, I will use the 3/4 inch oblong punch and punch the slot for the buckle tongue to come through. Now we will make 10 sets of these. Now that I have tooled all my leather and allowed it to dry thoroughly, it's time to apply the color. I'm going to do this with the professional water stain, and I'm going to do it with the block dyeing method. I have done that by using a dry sponge and having wrapped with some soft cotton cloth, and now I will apply some of the dye to this block. Now I will block it on a piece of paper towel to get rid of most of it, and then I will begin putting it onto the leather in a circular motion. Now please note that as I do this, it brings up the grain of the leather. And I will do this all over. Adding more dye as I need it. As I get up near the place where I have tooled a gear on there, I will work it up to it, but I will not dye the wheel itself. And I'll keep doing this until I am pleased with the color that I have.